Hey guys, Kevin here with eTrailer, and today I'm going to be showing you how to install the Solera RV awning here on our 2007 Four Winds Chateau Class C motorhome. So as you can see, our neighbor's awning has definitely seen better days. The fabric's all falling apart. You can see it splintering off right there. The arms themselves don't really want to function. I actually had tried to pull this out, and it was really giving me a hard time to just even open it past the foot. So we're going to go ahead and replace not only our roller tube, but our arms as well with new manual hybrid arms from Solera. Before we can do that though, we need to make sure that we have the correct measurements and that we have the right size roller tube and awning. So when replacing your awning arms and your roller tube, you're going to need to measure from the center of your awning arm over to the center of your other awning arm, which gives us right at 16 feet. One other thing that you need to look into is if you have a fifth wheel, you're going to need to make sure that when you're placing your arms on, that you're not in a spot where your arm is going to be too long for the body of your RV or motorhome, whatever you have. Typically on fifth wheels, you'll see a longer arm on the back, and then if it comes up over onto the top hole, it's going to have a shorter arm. So the best thing about these arms is that they have an auto rain dump feature. So what that means is that when pressure builds up from rain pooling up on top of our awning, whatever side starts to get too heavy, our awning arm right here is going to pop down and drop that side to dump the water. So that way we don't end up wrecking our arms or tearing through our fabric. So operating your arms here are going to be super easy. All you do is you take your hook right here on your crank, pull that through. You're going to want to make sure that you have your arm lined up perfectly with that hook up there. Otherwise, you're going to keep popping off. If you go counterclockwise, that will push your awning out, and clockwise will roll your awning right back up in. We can go ahead and start our installation by taking off our old Dometic awning. So right out of the box, we have our two arms. One side is going to be our driver. That is this side right here with our hook coming out of the head, and then we have our idler. That's just what's going to sit there and keep spinning as our driver rotates around whenever our awning is coming in or out. So in your instructions, it's going to say to use some kind of sealant or caulk to kind of waterproof your holes from your screws going in. I'm going to skip all that, and I'm just going to use butyl tape. It's going to do a much better job. As the screws go through the butyl tape, it'll pull into the threads of it and just give you a way nicer, tight water seal. And you won't have to worry about your caulk failing that just sits outside in the sun and withers away. Just lay that across and press it down. Cut off our excess. And I'm going to do this for each set of holes down the length of the arm. When placing your arms up on our RV, you're going to want to make sure that you're actually placing this bracket directly up against the C-channel or extrusion rail that's already on your trailer. So as I'm sliding this into place, I also have a level with me so I can just double check that I have my awning arm sitting exactly how I need it to. Just a little bit over. So what I did was I cut off that zip tie that comes from the factory. I put a new one on, but I kept it a lot looser so that I can have the front of our arm come out so that I can actually get to the hole back here so that I can bolt it in place. We're going to want to make sure that we have our bracket sitting up with our C-channel or extrusion rail like I said earlier. And then we're going to keep a level with this, trying to level out our arms here as we're putting it in place. We want to make sure that we don't have our screws setting it up for it to be super crooked on here. So we'll go ahead and start putting in our screws now. I got one somewhat started. So now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other side with our idler arm. So I'm just double checking my level here, and then we're going to go ahead and we'll shoot 2 screws into the bottom and then 2 into the middle. So now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing to the other side. For our next part, we're going to take our bead right here and then run that through our extrusion rail. All right, now we're going to go ahead and slide our roller tube right onto our drive head here. And we'll stick one of our cotter pins that came with our kit down through the hole. And we can go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Now we're on the idler head. As you can see, this has got a flat part on it, and it's only going to fit in one way with our roller tube. So you'll have to have your holes line up, otherwise it's not going to want to slip in. Put that in place. Stick our cotter pin through. And then we can go ahead and pull our cotter pin apart to ensure that our awning roller tube doesn't come off. So now I'm going to go ahead and tighten up our zip ties that are on here, because I want my arms to sit closed so that when I tighten up the tension here, so that we don't have this billowing around, I know I got both my arms at the exact same spot. With both of our arms closed up, I'm going to use our crank and tighten it up. Now that we have our awning tensioned up, we can go ahead and cut off our zip ties. Pull them out. So your kit's going to come with these two black screws right here. These are going to get screwed into the extrusion rail, into the bead that runs through the awning fabric. That way the awning fabric isn't moving side to side as you open or close your awning. So we want to shoot our screw about 1 inch in, and we don't want to take a chance at hitting our awning and causing any kind of hole or tear. So you want to do this real careful. We're just trying to get into that bead that holds the awning fabric into the extrusion rail here. So we're just going to kind of feather this in. Just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Well, I think that about does it for today's installation of the Solera RV Awning here on our 2007 Four Winds Chateau Class C motorhome. My name's Kevin. Thanks for watching.